guys. It's been, I don't know, like a week since my last video. I have been getting some questions and I'm only going to deal with two today. But the first one was, what is a prepoo? And it was one of my first videos, but a prepoo is basically what you do before you shampoo, because the poo part of prepoo stands for shampoo, so pre-poo. My second question was about hairlines. My cousin, amazing person, she was just texting me the other day and she was like, I know with hairlines, I shouldn't be braiding as much and things like that, but what exactly should I do to grow out my hairline? And actually, I recently had a client who I sold some shampoo to and she had the same problem. And my suggestion for hairline problems is, one, when you do get installs of anything, do not let them pull too tight. And a sign of that is, one, inflamed scalp, and two, if you have pimples on your scalp, three, if you have a headache after getting your hair done. I'm sure there's other things, like when you put your head down to sleep and it hurts for longer than, I would say, max 2 days. Likely it was way too tight, and it's pulling at your scalp that you can't even sleep. You have to take Advil or whatever it is. Then you should definitely consider getting a different hairdresser or asking them to make sure that they're not as tight. Another suggestion definitely would be, please, I beg of you, do not get skinny braids, because they do break, and particularly on the edges, because the edges are your weak spot and there's the least hair there. So you can imagine you have like one strand of this and then you have like hair on top of that, and it's tight and it's tiny and you're trying to undo it. I've had so much loss from when I was younger from just having thin braids. Like, just because they were thin, more hair came out. Now I would stick to medium to large braids, and that works pretty well. Another thing is for weaves, when you have whatever it is that you're being plaited down, if that's too tight as well, you can feel it. It's almost as if like your face is being pulled back. Be aware of that and make sure that that's not too tightly done either. Another thing is, and I do this too, silk caps. I'm not saying that silk caps are too tight, no, but there have been times where I felt like a pinching sensation, like if I'm wearing my glasses and the silk cap, or if I'm wearing headphones and the silk cap. Just try to make sure to relieve any tension that have anything to do with your edges. Make sure to let them breathe. Make sure to use growing things that inspire growth. Aloe vera inspires growth. Different types of oils inspire growth. Make sure to focus on your hairline and make sure you don't leave it out, because sometimes when we're putting product everywhere, sometimes we're not as attentive to our hairline. But when it comes to the silk caps, consider just getting a silk pillow, because then you don't have to have that band that it's like this much band on top right there, and that can definitely cause some tension there. Ponytails and high buns, they look awesome. They look amazing. Even I sometimes have ponytails and high buns, and I've seen people do this when they're doing them, especially like with braids. You like pull and you tighten, and it really pulls a lot right here. So make sure that when you do that, you don't pull too tight, and you make sure to watch your edges when you're doing styles that are pulled back or put up type styles, especially when it's heavy braids, because heavy braids, the minute you put them up, they're pulling. I don't care what you want to say or how loose you tie it. If you have heavy, big braids and you put them up, they pull at you. And I've noticed that even when I put a bun in the back of my head, it's like this weight that's pulling everything back. I would suggest that you minimize those kinds of hairstyles where it's just pulling back like that so much. Just minimum manipulation in the front here. I know some people think that it's always trying to, catch your edges. You know how it is when you're trying to catch your edges in the braids, when you're having wigs and all of that, because wig caps are tight, and they can definitely hurt your edges as well, so make sure to watch that. Honestly, I try to wear wigs as little as I can. I think that, other than the fact that I just have good edges, and I'm not gonna lie, my edges are good edges, but one of the things that contributes to that is really I try to take care of them as well. But if you find that you're struggling, you do need to take extra care with your edges, especially if you're going to wear a wig cap, and then after you've been wearing a wig cap all day, you're going to put on a silk bonnet, which also has that line thing pressing on there. So you have a wig cap pressing on here, and then you have that thing pressing on here, and like on a every single day type tip. Yeah, no, it's not good for your edges. So just like no low manipulation for like your hair so it doesn't keep breaking, it's the same thing with your edges. Try not to manipulate all that much. If you use like a comb or a brush to brush your edges all the time, then it's gonna be just like if you're combing your hair, right? Because it is hair, and it's fragile hair at that. And I was asked for examples of the kinds of hairstyles that you could do so that you're putting your hair up but you're not playing with your edges. This is one. Okay, so basically, like, you can see that I've done like a twist, a flat twist here in the front, but it's not tight. Like, it's not tight at all, but it was still neat, and now it's not that neat because I've had it for like since Thursday. 3 days. Had it for 3 days. But when I did put it in for a dinner or banquet, it looked really good. In fact, I didn't put it on Thursday. I put it in on Wednesday to prepare for the hairstyle I was going to do on Thursday. And like, it's not tight at all. Like, there's no pulling, and it still looks neat. It still looks good. I mean, the back is another story, but I will fix that later. And so just making sure not to have super tight hairstyles. I will make sure to put links up for different types of hair throughout the video, just so that you can see the types of hairstyles that you can do without hurting your edges. Like I said, thicker braids. Don't be pulling your hair back all the time, especially like those front braids. It can really pull at your edges, and that is not good. Make sure to not forget to do the front. I know when I do my Prepoo, you see me like putting a lot of aloe vera on my edges because they need love and conditioning too. I mean, do your best to work on that. Try to leave them alone. I know a lot of the times we want to cover them up because we're like, oh, it's that curly hair that doesn't look like the rest of my hair, and I don't want it to show. But it really is part of that loving your hair journey to try to figure out what works best for your edges, what products work best for your edges, and to love them just like you would love the rest of your hair, you know. And that's all I'm going to cover right now, because otherwise the video will go on forever. But I really do appreciate you watching this video. Subscribe, like if you like. If you have questions, definitely put them below. If there is something that you do to your edges that make them grow like wildfire, please post, because I know that other people will be definitely interested in that information. I will be interested in that information. Yeah, if you have any other questions, Q&A, definitely send me a message, send me an email. I'll be glad to answer them. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe. If you have suggestions for topics and things like that that you'd like me to talk about, definitely shoot me a comment or send me an email, and I'd be happy to go over stuff with you. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel, and I hope you have the best day ever. Bye.